Welcome to the second part of the topic, reproductive system in male and female. Now, our main focus here is female reproductive system. This is the external structure of the female reproductive system. The external structure of female reproductive system contains two skin folds, the outer skin fold and the inner skin fold. The outer skin fold is known as the Labia Majora. Now, below the Labia Majora is the inner skin fold, known as the Labia Minora. Proceeding to the inner part of the female reproductive system, there's a particular structure up here known as the clitoris. This clitoris we are talking about contains many sensory neurons. As a result, it is very sensitive, and this is responsible for sexual arousal in female. Below the clitoris, there's a structure known as the urethral opening. The function of the urethral opening is to allow the passage of urine outside the body of the female to the external environment. Now, closer to the urethral opening, there's another structure known as the vaginal opening. The vaginal opening is responsible for collection of sperm into the inner part of the female reproductive system. And we also know that the pH of the vagina is acidic, which is neutralized by a mixture of sperm and semen. Let's talk about the internal reproductive part of a female. The internal reproductive part of a female begins with the vagina, which I said the pH is acidic. Closer to the vagina, there's a particular structure known as the cervix. The cervix is the neck of the uterus. It is the cervix that connects the uterus, also known as the womb, to the vagina. The uterus is also connected to a tube known as the fallopian tube, also called the oviduct. Now, the purpose of this tube is to allow passage of sperm to the ovary. Closer to the ovary, there's also another structure known as the ampulla. The ampulla is a region whereby fertilization takes place. That is, there's a release of egg cells from the ovary to the ampulla. Then the sperm is going to fertilize the egg at this region known as the ampulla. Now, what I'm trying to say is that once sperm enters the female reproductive part, the sperm moves from the vagina to the uterus to the fallopian tube, also known as the oviduct, then to the ampulla where fertilization takes place. Now, after fertilization has taken place, there will be a development of embryo. Mind you that the structure of the ampulla and the fallopian tube is smaller to the extent that it cannot be conducive for the development of the embryo. So as a result of this, the embryo have to be migrated back to the uterus. When we are talking about the uterus is made up of three layers. The outer layer is called the perimetrium, while the middle layer is known as the endometrium, and the inner layer is known as the myometrium. What is the functions of these three layers? The perimetrium, which is the outer layer, protects the egg from damage and infections. It protects the egg from infection because it contains an immune cells known as the macrophage and the lymphocyte. Then the perimetrium also has another function, which is transportation of oxygen into the uterus because it contains a blood vessels. Then another third function of the perimetrium is that the perimetrium contains a lymphatic cell, and the function of these lymphatic cells is to remove waste and fluid from the uterus. Now, let's go to the middle layer known as the endometrium. The endometrium is a layer below the perimetrium. This endometrium is always thick in pregnant women, while in women that are not pregnant, the endometrium is thin. The function of this endometrium is to supply nutrients to the embryo within the uterus because the placenta of the embryo is connected to the endometrium, thereby allowing easy passage of nutrients into the embryo. Below the endometrium, there's another layer known as the myometrium. The myometrium is made up of a muscular layer. As a result, it can relax and contract, thereby pushing the embryo downward into the vagina for easy delivering of the baby. All these structures together is regarded as the internal structure of female reproductive system, which is made up of the cervix, the uterus, the fallopian tube, also known as the oviduct. Then the uterus, I said the uterus is made up of 3 layers: the perimetrium, the endometrium, and the myometrium. Now the ovary. The ovary is a very important structure in external part of the female reproductive system because it contains follicle which produce egg and then stroma. The stroma is responsible for production of hormones, which is the progesterone hormone and the estrogen hormone. Thank you for watching.